I'm crazy, and my neighbors will never know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, women and children, and everybody listening, this is the Mark Mania Club podcast. I'm one of your lovely, lovely hosts, Munchie Panda. That's your cue.
Hi, my name is Thomas.
And I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, this isn't another AA meeting like you usually go to. Anywho, we're here today to discuss wrestling. We're just a day off Monday Night Raw.
A pretty good Monday Night Raw.
What people are already calling it one of the greatest Raws of all time. I'm like, let's slow our rolls for a second.
It was good. I wouldn't go that far.
But yeah, exactly. We're coming off the June 17th, 2024 edition of Raw, and just 3 days after Clash of Castle, of course. Epic pay-per-view as well. My opinion, I still think the Clash of Castle 2022 was a little bit more better just because of the that card.
It was maybe infinitely better, in my opinion, 2022. But I mean, it's they've been so consistent over the last year and a half with pay-per-views and shows and everything that not to call this a dud, but not everything is going to be gold,
Yeah, no, you're gonna have,
but that doesn't mean that silver's any less valuable either. So
yeah, you're gonna have shit pay-per-views. Like, not to say the matches on independently are gonna be bad, but you're gonna have those bad shows, and sometimes it's okay to just bounce back from it. But going forward, though, Clash of Castle 2024, both both main events 2022 and 2024 ended in somewhat of a run-in or interference, so that's pretty cool. But no, aside from that, I was surprised Cody versus AJ started. I quit match, by the way, but still starting the show, that was pretty hot. Interesting.
I mean, it was good. Like, I think the spot of the night is easily where AJ went for the forearm and Cody threw the chair at his head and he bumped off the apron and went through the table.
For those of you that know, that's a WWE 2K24 moment.
Only AJ Styles could pull off a spot like that.
It's phenomenal, I guess you could say.
Oh, quitting.
Anyway, moving forward, yeah, AJ basically, I thought he was going to use his Cody's mom as a way to, I guess, try to get Cody to say I quit. But what I loved is every time Cody was about to be on the verge of quitting, he stared at his mother. He stared in that direction, and he had this like irresistible urge to never quit. And all of a sudden, he was a Superman, and it was amazing. Great match, and AJ basically says I quit when he's in the corner handcuffed, and basically Cody's about to throw some steel steps on him. He holds it over him. AJ says, no, I quit. And Cody hits him anyway.
No, it was a great, I think their match at Backlash was definitely better. I mean, because it's obviously, it's a totally different animal, but I think it was fun. It was a great match to warm the crowd up.
No, definitely. In terms of that, like I said, it was a great match overall. And again, I think I was surprised, the OC didn't interfere. That is interesting to note because, heels, bad guys, no disqualification. You'd assume there was some sort of, use of outside interference. But no, these men went at it one-on-one, and it was a clean match per the rules. And yeah, my one favorite moment was when AJ was just like, ask him, like not ask him, but I win the championship. He's like, you can't win. He has to say I quit, but like Cody's knocked out. He's like, I win, give me the title. And I'm like, AJ, that's clearly not the rules. Aren't you undefeated in these? You should know this by now.
I don't know. I'm really upset. I was really hoping, because I feel like this feud is over with, especially now that, towards the end of the match, it's very obvious we're getting Cody versus Solo in some capacity. But I was really upset that we never got more Bullet Club stuff.
Like spots?
Not spots. I mean, just like in their story of them not liking each other, because, Cody basically came into the Bullet Club a little less than a year after AJ left for WWE.
Well, maybe this was a way for them to kind of explore new ways to build a story around their matches because I think they even knew that the Bullet Club route was super obvious if they went away with that because people may have predicted that.
I mean,
Or
obvious isn't necessarily a bad thing, though.
true, true, but I think I mean, here's the thing, though. I think they wanted, like I said, they wanted to challenge themselves. That's what this business is about. I assume challenging yourself, and they wanted to kind of again, explore a new route. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to kind of showcase Bullet Club, but the fact that it's not WWE, it kind of shows that like to them, it's like that's not WWE. That's outside stuff. It's great that you know it, but it's not WWE, which is what we're focusing on right now as a product.
I mean, we'll get into a little bit later, but I feel like we're definitely in an era where, relying on outside storytelling and groups and wrestlers is kind of a thing that doesn't necessarily need to be as taboo as it was, say, 2 or 3 years ago.
Right, and it's a good, something to touch on, but I feel like that'd be saved for maybe more of a bigger match on a bigger stage. Not to say that pay-per-views haven't been, you know, very premium,
Well,
but it's
I
it,
mean, yeah, because I mean, you are right though. Like, there's, we're also in a day and age too where unfortunately it's not like it was 10, 12, 10, 15 years ago where you have people like a title could change hands on any show, and it was always a 50-50 shot depending on who, when the title's being defended. Now it's just like, okay, unless it's a SummerSlam or WrestleMania, a championship is not changing hands.
right, and that's actually kind of true. That's true. Unless it's a big show, major show, and nowadays, back then, if someone lost the title at the Rumble, that was like a whoa. The whole shift of WrestleMania just kind of changed. You know what I mean? And we've had that before, but now we don't. And you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. You never know. Something with Cody could lose at the Rumble and have to get it back at WrestleMania. But overall, though, great match. Next match I want to look at is the Chad Gable Sami Zayn one. I called you after the match right after, upset. Poor Gable.
R.I.P. Gable. May he rest in peace.
We'll definitely touch on why that's a literal statement right there later on. But no, Gable, I mean, the story was more focused on Alpha Academy, I think, versus Gable. Because Gable wants the IC title. He's chasing the IC title. But I think Gable and Otis and his disrespect for them is the main focus, and his greed. His greed is the main focus of the story. And, he's just constantly just having Otis try to attack. Maxine use the belt on Sammy, but they just can't do it. They're not like Gable, and Gable's like, "Oh, I'm the teacher. You have to listen." And Sammy was like an interesting outlier, if that makes sense. Like he wasn't the main focus of this, but he is because he's the champion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it was a situational thing. He
Yeah,
very much just felt kind of like yeah, because his role in it was kind of
he
they
was just a
didn't.
respectfully.
Yeah, because his, Sammy had a decent story with Gable already, where Gable was trying to build up Sammy, to beat Gunther. Sammy did beat Gunther, and then they had their match, and then Gable turned out of frustration. But now, instead of keeping that going, now yeah, it's just turned into, can Gable and the um, Alpha Academy coexist, featuring Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn.
Right. And I mean, it's something where I mean, we'll just talk about the match briefly, real quick. Basically, there's some points where Gable has ankle lock on Sami Zayn outside the ring, like on the ring apron, where everyone's just going for a spear nowadays. And Sammy flips it and does this flip where you flip the ankle lock holder in front of you, giving them that momentum. And Gable does an accidental chop block to the back of Maxine's knee, which brings her down. Otis, crowd pops to this, by the way. It's like one of those, oh shit, you fucked up moments. Gable's looking like he's scared. He's looking at Maxine. Otis is like looking at Gable. He sees Sammy down. He doesn't know to attack Sammy. Gable gets in the ring. It's just it's a whole fucking mess. Lots of shit happening. Then that's not even the end of it too. Otis basically just carries Maxine on the way out and doesn't care about Gable anymore. Respectfully, and the crowd cheers for that. Gable's just in the corner, like yelling at Otis to come back. Sammy with the haluva kick, and then gets the 1, 2, 3. I don't I don't hate Sammy, but I just didn't like Gable not winning title.
I get it. I mean, it's very similar to how I felt about the main event. Um, I think the match did what it needed to do. I mean, it's very evident where they're going to go with the Intercontinental Championship now after what happened on Raw last night. Um, but yeah, no other
No.
words on that.
Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Everyone, I feel like in their mom knew CM Punk in some capacity was going to interfere. They didn't say, "Oh, Drew's not going to win" or "Drew's going to." No, CM Punk is going to interfere and cost Drew the title one more time. And man, that let's just talk about like the real quick. Damien, he kind of does like a what did they call it? That suicide dive where he
It's
does
like a
like a
tope. It's a
tope, right?
yeah. I think it's a rope. It's a tope con hilo. I think is
Yeah,
the name of the rope.
that's what it was. Little
It's like a
bitty.
rope step. It's where he kind of like jumps off. He like gets momentum off the second rope and then goes over the top. But I think there was a clip if you watch at the beginning of the show where the ref is warning AJ about the looseness of the rope. And
See,
a lot of other people in the evening looked like they were having issues with it too. So it makes sense. I don't necessarily blame that botch on Priest, but it still is. It was a little scary. I really did think that his gut was gone for a little bit there. That he screwed up his ankle pretty badly.
yeah, he was just he's just hanging there like upside down, and Drew just stomps him obviously because you can't just stand there and look like a dork. You're gonna
No,
beat the
Drew did a good job at helping him out of it while also selling it pretty well too.
yeah, exactly. And Drew being the man, like, nah, let his ass out because obviously Drew can't win the title out there. You know what I mean? So there's that. But no, real quick, the ref does a great job too. Did you see how he got out of the way when he was in the corner? And Priest, I think it was Drew was about to hit him, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he just skedaddled through the ropes real quick to get out of the ring. I don't know. That's one of the best ref dodges I've seen. But no, Drew hits a claymore and Priest kicks out. So there's that. I want to throw a little, you know what I mean? The claymore is very protected. That's my idea behind it. You know what I mean? You got Roman. If you got, I think Brock. Yeah, Brock is kicked out of it.
Seth is kicked out of it.
Kicked out of it. In this case, Priest is kicked out of it. They say yeah. So Roman, Seth, Priest. I'm definitely missing someone. Maybe no. Yeah, no. See, so that's the thing. It's very protected, and in cases like has Gunther kicked out of it?
Probably.
Okay, we'll just say probably. The point I'm trying to make is though Priest looked good kicking out of it, and then obviously the ref bump does happen. Priest does hit the claymore. 1, 2, 20. Nobody's around. Refs running in. This camera shot, the most immaculate, beautiful camera shot. We all knew it was Punk because of the shoes. I don't know about you. I just saw the shoes right away. Chicago ones, lows, and 1, 2, and he just holds him nothing right there. Drew looks up to see who the fuck is counting, and it's the glorious motherfucker himself, CM Skunk. That man should be fired. But anywho, all of a sudden, Drew knows what the fuck is going on. He goes to choke and possibly murder Phil. And at this point, Phil kicks him in the nuts. Priest goes for South of Heaven. Referee comes in, the real one anyway. 1, 2, 3. Drew got screwed in his hometown twice. What is this? Did Triple H book both the clashes? Didn't he book both
He
of
did
them?
book both the clashes.
He does not like Drew McIntyre. He does not like Drew at all. But to be fair, he's given him one of the hottest, arguably the hottest angles of the year, the CM Punk and Drew feud. So that's something to look forward to if the match ever happens. Um, but yeah, no, Clash of Castle. I thought it was great. Bits and pieces to pick at, but who cares, right?
No, like I said, I think it was a great show. I don't think it's their best show. I think it's been
Oh no.
this or the Chamber. I think were their weakest shows of the year, but I still think it was pretty decent. I mean, they're going for quality over quantity with these match cards. They're not doing like 6 to 8 matches on the show like they used to like 10 years ago.
Oh man, you see, I love those though. Didn't you like those? Like just random mid carders going at it, and then maybe something cool happen. You know what I mean? Like just even if I don't know, sometimes because I feel like every match back then, even if it was just on the card, had a somewhat of a story. You know what I mean? Some sort of competitive nature for the reason to win. I felt like there was always something there, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they're more of a presentation based, draw kind of thing, and they want to keep it simple. I think Elimination Chamber had 4 matches. I could be wrong, but I think it did. It's a interesting note there. But moving on here, real quick. OMG. We're gonna touch on 2 things, maybe a dabble of another, but Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, like you
That
said, it was a very good show. I was following bits of it on Twitter and Instagram last night, but I was like, it's very rare that I actively I don't have the time to just sit and watch certain wrestling shows during the week unless I know that something is going to be crazy. I think the last Raw that I watched was the one where Punk came back, but
classic.
it was a great show. First off, I just want to say I confidently think that Bray Wyatt is looking down with a smile right now at how beautifully executed the Wyatt 6 segment was.
Oh, that shit was a beautiful. They were live. They shot that live.
It was art. It was literal art.
That is something that even the biggest, even Jim Cornette couldn't hate this. I couldn't see why anyone could not like the way this faction officially has debut. This is top tier. I don't even want to say editing, just top tier production, top tier camera angles, top tier position. Nikki Cross is great, by the way. I believe she's Sister Abigail, right?
Abby the Witch is the
Abby the
name of the character.
They're the Funhouse characters. I don't know. I was going literal, but yeah, no. Basically, she did a great job of like just being the character, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? It's a bunch of characters in a ring, duking it out, right? That's
Yeah.
pretty much what. And it's the I don't know. I can go on and on, but yeah, no. This is just something that totally caught me not off guard because we knew it was coming, but off guard in the sense of how it was made.
Yeah, I mean, everybody involved. I mean, for like, if you really look at it, like everybody did was just stand and walk ominously, but it was just the production just like helped amplify the aura of the group, and I'm very excited to see what they do. I mean, we said before, like there was a bunch of security guards were down. You saw Braun Strowman and Chad Gable unconscious on the ground and
unconscious or dead. Chad Gable looks like he had a bullet hole in his head. I'm
yeah.
just gonna say right now.
I don't think Uncle Howdy is
Yeah,
back in heat right now.
they're not gonna kill. No. But yeah, you're right. Like clearly targeting people. Obviously we discussed earlier, rumor mill online, whatever you want to say. There's a bunch of people laid out, such as Carmelo Hayes, Gunther, and stuff. I still don't believe it, but hey, Pete, the eye can believe what they want. But no, the smoke backstage, security guards laid out, the gorilla position. This was interesting. They had the gorilla position. Everyone just laid out in smoke. And this massacre, man, I'm telling you, this felt like it was a rebranding. You know what I mean? It makes me want to think what's going to happen on SmackDown. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I don't know if they're Raw. I don't know if they're Raw or SmackDown explicitly. This is my big fear with this stable, and I think that they're smart enough to learn from their mistakes. The Fiend was a brilliant gimmick, and it worked until they insisted on putting him in the world title picture.
Too soon. I'll say that. They put him in the world title scene too soon.
I think with how this group is presented and what they're inevitably going to do, I think that I don't think this is a group that needs a championship.
You know what? I didn't mean to cut you off real quick. Continue, but I think Awesome Truth is probably going to drop it to them. I'm saying it right now.
Maybe. I could see them. I my personal pick, who I think they're going to go through first, is the Final Testament.
Go through first
I think that's going to be the first group that they feud with.
as heels.
I think they're going to be heels, and I think it's going to be a story of the Final Testament biting off more than they can chew.
You think they're gonna be like justice punishers, like Gable, with greed,
Maybe
Testament being a false prophet. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
something like that. Maybe
That's gonna be cool. Oh man, going for
not
the new thing.
necessarily being a direct, but just being like a very chaotic force throughout WWE. You know,
I don't think they can go on SmackDown. The bloodline storyline and everything would be too convoluted for them to be in there.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily need a championship to make the story relevant.
Well, not like a champ. I meant like go to SmackDown. Like I don't think they're gonna appear on SmackDown because like with the bloodline angle and you got Logan Paul and LA Knight and all this other stuff. I don't think you want to jam too much of the Wyatt Six. That makes sense. Keep them once a week. You know what I mean on Raw.
No, and they've been pretty good with the draft too. After they did it, with keeping people on their specific shows, unless it's bringing people to NXT.
Do you think? Okay, break it down for me. Who do you think is in the faction?
It's been confirmed who's in it.
Has it officially?
Yeah,
But
so Joe Gacy is the guy in the pig mask. There's official names for all these characters, by the way. I know that. I just don't have them off the top of my head. Abby the Witch is Nikki Cross. The Buzzard Vulture Skull guy, that's Dexter Loomis.
right.
The Rabbit is Eric Rowan, and then obviously Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. And then the sixth member is Bray's presence in influence, I think, as part of and I think the lantern is supposed to represent that, and then that's why they're called the Wyatt Six.
I like that. Okay.
Because I wasn't sure if they were waiting on Alexa Bliss to come back and be a part of it.
She has a baby, right?
I know she has a baby, and I know she hasn't been around in a long time, but I thought that maybe she was going to be a part of it.
No, she's definitely gonna do her thing down the road. I could see I'm trying to think of Judgment Day versus the Wyatt Six and she joins Judgment Day to fight them, Alexa Bliss. But no, the Wyatt Six is interesting right now. I mean, we don't know how they're gonna be booked. I wouldn't really put them in a match for a while. Let people wait, salivate.
Maybe.
Make them wait for it, but it's just going to be an interesting thing. Aside from that, though, like I said, there's not much we can talk about the White Six for now, just because. I mean, I do want to touch on one thing. This is a massive resurgence for Bo Dallas, a big one, like a huge one, if I may say.
No, I think you could make an argue for Cody, maybe perhaps, but Cody had time to actually go away on the independent scene and come back, like a big deal. But this is the biggest. Like if you going from the cannon fodder for the Miz Taraj to this,
I want to say Jinder Mahal, but this really beats it.
Yeah,
you're officially locked in the main event scene. Like this is no way anything below, and I don't know. It's just great for Bo. He's carrying on his brother's legacy, his family's legacy, doing what Bray's vision he's sure of, how he wants to. And I'm all for it, 100%. But next thing, real quick, Seth Rollins' unexpected return.
I love surprises like this. This is one of the few things that no one knew about. It wasn't like a dirt sheet rumor or nothing. Like it was just straight up like, oh my God, he's back. Hope his knee's okay, for one. Two, he's going against Damian Priest.
Money in the Bank. Yeah, Priest said he wants to straight up prove to him why he's the dominant champion.
Now,
yeah,
do we think Seth is going to win?
I don't. Because Seth versus Gunther at SummerSlam sounds amazing.
I would love to see Seth versus Gunther. I think that could be the main event, personally, of SummerSlam.
A great show, and I mean, the only thing Well, because nothing is in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. So I guess if you wanted to, you could
No,
have.
Bash in Berlin.
Oh, I thought Bash in Berlin was after SummerSlam.
Is
Is it?
it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So let me double check. Money in the Bank. Yes, 2024 is July. Is Money in the Bank, NXT Heatwave,
Yep,
SummerSlam.
it is. It's August 31st.
Okay, so SummerSlam. So yeah, you could definitely then you could have the rematch if necessary. You could have Gunther versus Rollins at Bash in Berlin because I think Rollins could be that transitional champion as messed up as it is.
I mean, it also legitimizes it the belt a little bit more by having somebody hold it twice within
Yeah,
that lifetime. You know, like as good as Priest is. I mean, if with Jey Uso now advancing to the Money in the Bank ladder match, I don't see there being much of a storyline sense of Damian holding it for that long. If he's just gonna, because that'll ultimately make him seem like a transitional champion if he's just going from Drew to Gunther. You know,
right.
and that's not a knock on Priest. I think Priest has really grown on me over the last couple months. I think there are certain promos that you can tell are his, and certain promos that you can tell he has like bullet points he needs to hit. Um, especially in his feud with Drew. But you know, he's good. He's a good champion. I just think that you know there was so much focus on Cody and the WWE title that I think with all that focus being on Cody, it kind of took away from. I don't want to say the aura because I hate that term, but it kind of took away from, or I don't want to even say legitimacy. I think I personally feel like it took away from like the shockingness of Priest being champion. Like, because Priest hasn't felt like a world champion because all of our eyes have been set on Cody over the last few months. You know, and Drew, and it's like, and when Drew was going to win it, when Drew was going against Seth Ford at WrestleMania, because Drew and Seth felt like such big names, and it didn't really, the cash in didn't feel like it really worked the same way as it did for Seth 10 years ago. That was a tangent, but like
Oh
the,
no,
but like, yeah, I feel like the cash in has not brought the same type of success and reception as it did Seth Rollins a few years ago. I think maybe that's just because the world title doesn't have the same like aura that it did.
the people in the match.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
and like I think like had it been maybe like a, and it's funny because like had it been like maybe like a Jey Uso cashing in after the match, I think we wouldn't be having this discussion. But I think it's just, you know, like Damian, it's very clear. It was very clear that like once Gunther lost the Intercontinental title, it was like, okay, he's definitely going after the world title now. It's only a matter of time. And then, you know, everybody was stoked on Drew getting their moment. And, you know, unfortunately, the moment with the cash in, you know, the most shocking moment of the cash in was the fact that Punk took out McIntyre and to set that up. So, you know, like arguably the biggest story on Raw is Punk versus Drew, and then second to that is the world title.
that's gonna be interesting.
You know,
That Punk feud. Oh,
um, to touch upon something else, have you been following along with the interwebs tonight?
interwebs on
As in Joe Hendry appeared in NXT to the biggest NXT pop I've ever heard.
what?
Yeah,
What? What? I believe in Joe Hendry. Oh my god, that song's glued in my head.
it is the biggest pop I've ever heard.
Oh my god, debuts on NXT. Bro, this is wild. Dang. I believe in Joe Hendry. So
You can see the camera shake from how loud the arena gets.
can you give me the lore?
The lore of Joe Hendry.
Like what makes him so poppin'?
It's the theme song and the gimmick. It's like he's so motivational. You just have to love him. I've been loosely following. I don't want to claim to be a Joe Hendry fan for that his entire career, because it's simply just But I remember him being in the WCPW days when What Culture ran their own wrestling promotion. He was one of their signees there. But yeah, he's been pretty good. I think the theme song has helped a lot, and he's also
Right.
like his gimmick is pretty. It's very entertaining as well. He's also fairly decent in the ring too.
The way he does that head turn at the entrance, bro's a fucking Ken Barbie doll, bruh. This is interesting. So he's been around the game for a minute then.
Yeah, I think he's been around for like a little bit, like around 10 years or something.
Joe Hendry. Oh my God! Say his name and make him appear. That's wild. I actually thought he was going to appear at the Rumble. So, what do you think this means for Hendry?
I mean, I haven't seen who won the match, but I think I think this definitely means that down the line we're going to get World Collide NXT versus TNA,
Hmm.
because they're working very closely, especially with the Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez match that we had recently. Um,
Oh, I, I do want to note real quick. If you watch the Battle Royal at like the 13-minute mark, um, Sean Spears looks exactly like Ricochet. The beard, the tights, the bald head. I swear to God, I was like Ricochet, and I looked at it closer. It was Sean Spears. Anywho, sorry, I didn't mean to go off that tangent right there, but he literally, I'm sorry, he looks exactly like Ricochet.
Javon Evans is the number one contender.
Oh, yeah, I'm watching it right now.
He's great. He's so good in NXT.
Javon Evans. If you had to say, looking at Javon now, do you think he can make it on the main roster?
I think a lot of them could make it on the main roster. I think it's just a matter of the execution. You got plenty of guys who, like, if you look at it, Bobby Roode should have made it on the main roster.
Hmm.
Shinsuke Nakamura should have had more success on the main roster rather than just being relegated
That
to a mid carder.
that heel turn should have been justified, but
You
it
know,
never anywhere.
you got like EC3 should have been a big deal on the main roster when he was there. Like, so many guys who in NXT you get so excited for the call ups, and you're just you're waiting to see where they go, and then they come up and it's very underwhelming. Cameron Grimes is also someone who showed a lot of potential, one of the most charismatic guys that they had in NXT, and then they just didn't have anything with him, and that's under the Triple H regime too.
That was interesting. Yeah, that is very. No, Cameron Grimes had an interesting gimmick of just. I don't know. I remember he was the $1 million champion at one point, but no, just a cool, loving, fun dude.
Certain people like I watched, like I knew were built for the main roster, like Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, and Tiffany Stratton. Like I've known they were ready to go when I was watching them. Um,
Tiffany Stratton's gonna be big.
Samoa Joe should have had more on the main roster. Those are so many. There's so many guys that the problem is not everybody can be a world champion. But I don't think that's necessarily that should discredit them for being a legitimate draw or talent.
Right. No, I see what you're saying, bro.
Sami Zayn's been on the main roster for the last 8 years, and I think in WWE, Sami Zayn is my favorite wrestler right now, and he's not anywhere near the world title picture, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's not.
Anywhere near.
Yeah.
He's the champion. He's
Well, I said
basically
world title. I said world title.
Hmm.
But also, you know, certain people take more time. I mean, look at Chad Gable. Chad Gable is now finally hitting his stride again 8 years after debuting on the main roster.
Chad Gable. Yeah, no, I want to say this past year, he's just been on fire nonstop.
Chad Gable, and then you got a couple other people. But one of the things I wanted to touch about to circle back to the TNA and XT stuff, another match that they announced was AJ Styles is returning to the Japanese wrestling circuit to face Naomichi Marufuji. I may have butchered that.
Why?
For a Noah promotion
Okay.
or a Noah affiliate, which is huge. I mean, because they did that match with Shinsuke last year where he faced off against the Great Muta in what I think was the Great Muta's retirement match. So that I can understand. But the fact that they've had their two-time WWE champion go out and, you know, have a fun, you know, dream match that they want to work is huge. You know, like I think that's something that there's a very high chance. I don't think we'll see like a Cody Rhodes or a Roman Reigns doing it, but we could definitely see like maybe like a Sheamus or Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins or something, maybe doing a match or two here somewhere on the independent circuit with a name that could suit them. I know, like we've talked about it, you would love this. I think a great match would still be Minoru Suzuki versus Sheamus.
Oh man, that match has to happen, man. I'm telling you, please, please, I'm begging the booking gods of WWE and TKO and New Japan. Just let it happen. Please. Please let it happen.
That'd be good. I mean, I've said this before. I would love to see Seth Rollins versus Tetsuya Naito. I think that match would be phenomenal. Um,
That would just probably when Seth leaves WWE, I could see that. I could see Seth exploring more options of who to wrestle.
I could see it, but I mean, if they're doing this, he won't have to leave WWE to do these matches.
That's true.
They could definitely throw. I mean, they did it with. I remember the first person to really do it was Chris Jericho, and then he just didn't end up renewing his contract. But there's one with Io Sky too, and it's really crazy to think of where we're at.
When it comes to wrestling nowadays, everything's changed. The whole landscape has changed. It's like as if since 2020 or 2021, when wrestling came back to from crowd like COVID and stuff, that's when they decided, you know what, let's up the ante, let's make everything fucking lit. And I think the competition is kicking each other's ass too. You know, competition breeds success.
You see. I was trying to find this Io Sky match.
I'm looking at this thing on the internet. I believe in Mark Henry.
Oh, yep. Io Sky competing for Marigold is a sign of a significance in our existence. Yep. So if she's competing for, and Io Sky will face Utami Hayashishita. Hayashishita at Marigold's Summer Destiny event on July 13th.
Okay. June 13th. What promotion again?
Marigold.
Very cool. That's cool. So they're giving more brands opportunities, more promotions opportunities.
That's what I'm saying, I think it's great. I think if these companies are willing to work with them, I think it's not as gatekeepy as it used to be,
No, definitely. Wrestling is now a thing where anyone can. It's open to everyone. It's always been, but now I feel like people now believe that it's finally open. You know what I mean? That's now they can just watch it and do whatever. I'm still waiting for the AEW WWE collab.
I feel what's crazy to think now is I think it's Tony Khan holding that back rather than Triple H.
based on everything. Yeah. Writing the love letter to Joe Hendry.
Give me a second. No, hang on, we'll cut this out. I'm just trying to find something. Okay. All right, we can roll with the podcast in general. All right. Was there any other beats that you wanted to hit?
Sorry, I'm doing a Slim Jim. Hold on. Wow, poor timing. Really? Okay, we can definitely cut this part out because we're playing like just the next few minutes. Sorry.
I think we should tack this on at the end of it.
No. We'll wrap. Oh yeah, bet. I was gonna say, Cody Rhodes, obviously, in my opinion, wrapped up his thing with AJ Styles. Obviously, if you we didn't touch on this earlier, but basically after Cody's match, when he walked up, to the stage, Solo was behind him, clapping his hands, mocking him, and then the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa attacked him. And then KO and Orton came in. You said that they're gonna have a 6-man tag team match at Money in the Bank, which I can see that because they typically do that at because Cody doesn't have to defend his title every pay-per-view, but this we don't know the results of the match or what happens. Who's Cody's opponent at SummerSlam?
I want to say Randy. I could definitely see them running it back. I could see them doing Roman again.
Roman like leading Solo in them or thinking he's running them anyway.
Yeah, and then they could have Solo cost Roman.
Okay, because it's interesting. Because I just want to remember Paul Heyman. He's been saying that Roman did not authorize for the Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga because of their backgrounds and stuff. So it will be interesting to see Roman having a run in with them.
It'll probably come. What I see them happening is it'll probably be Cody versus Solo at Money in the Bank. Roman will return. Big pop. Roman will assume, try to resume leadership in the bloodline. They'll go along with it. Main event of SummerSlam is Cody versus Roman. Ref gets knocked down like it does in every Roman match. Roman gestures for Solo to hit the spear on Cody. Solo spikes Roman. Cody wins the match that way, and that's how they kick Roman out of the bloodline.
Nice. Okay, I can definitely see that happening. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting way for the Bloodline Civil War to officially resume or can happen. But no, I mean, shit. Honestly, with everything going on in WWE, I just can't wait. I think when Roman Reigns returns, that's going to be the biggest thing this year. One of the biggest things this year. So we'll be on the lookout for that because we got the Wyatt Six now, right? Cody Rhodes is champion. You got Sami Zayn as champion. You got Judgment Day. You got this entire roster of people. Do you think the Wyatt Six should just steamroll, just go through everybody?
I think they should.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking the same thing. I think. Okay, this is one more tacking onto it. Do you think they're gonna run into the Bloodline?
I don't think they should.
Okay, I think they're gonna. Okay, fair enough. I don't think they should. Oh man, it's gonna happen. We'll keep that in there. No, but I'm just looking forward to everything. That, of course, does wrap up the podcast today with the Mark Mania Club. More to come and more detailed and stuffity stuff. You got anything you wanted to add on?
Yeah, the announcement of a new series that'll be on our YouTube channel is Can We Turn Munchie into an Indie Mark? This will be a new show where Munchie and I will be sitting down and we'll be, streaming our reactions to some of my favorite personal independent matches, which I think we're going to limit it to anything that's not WWE or AEW.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. You gotta get me out of my comfort zone.
Gotta get you out of the comfort zone. We're starting off with a New Japan match as our first match.
Oh, yay.
It
Woo!
it is a 29-minute match from the G1 Climax
I'm ready for it.
featuring Tetsuya Naito and Jim Cornette's favorite wrestler.
Who?
I think you know who.
Oh, you, Mark. It's not him.
It
It's
is
not.
him.
He hates him with a passion. He despises everything he has done to the wrestling business. Kenneth Omega should not be anywhere near a wrestling ring. But whatever. I signed a contract. I'm a part of the series now for life. Ugh.
So yeah, you can catch that. We'll figure out when that'll be posted. But yeah, no, exciting stuff to come. Exciting stuff to come.
Definitely coming soon. All right, boys and girls, and everyone listening, women, MILFs nearby in my neighborhood that want to date me. Everyone, have a great night and take care.
Peace.
Yay.